one of the biggest things and the biggest words I've been thinking about is detaching. I'm 29 now. I mean, a lot of the things that I've been thinking about and stressing about lately is not too much about how, things will be like impossible in my life. It's just how I'm trying to fit something into my life that just doesn't really fit. It doesn't fit at all. Like the things that I try to make happen and that I know is expected from me is not something to where I feel like my life will be mine, It's like whenever your parents have a certain expectation of you, or somebody has a certain outcome that they feel is best for you, but you don't feel like that's completely you. So growing up, I was born into, being real religious. I would go to church every Sunday, Bible school, all the things, like a lot of different things I did dealing with religion. And I was always told to make good grades in school and to do a great job in that. And that wasn't something I was best at. It took me a long time to get to where I was like making good grades in school, like more than just the average kid. Like I felt like I was special in that way, and it wasn't always good for me. Like me not having great grades, like my parents didn't think I was I don't know what they was thinking. They was probably thinking like, yo, what are we gonna do with this dude? And even just the teachers that I've had, like it was a blessing I had some of the teachers that I had, but at the same time it's like they were probably worried about me as well. And it didn't completely click for me until I got older. Everything, the journey, the path that I went on and that I followed, everything was kind of set and in order. Like, okay, I didn't really expect to go to a university, but I went to university. I went to, pursue a degree and then run track and field and get accomplishments in that. And practice was set. These times were set. The journey was set for me. The only thing I had to do was really show up and to really do good for myself and for the people that was expecting me to show up, And the more that I look back at the times that, I've had some good times and some bad times, of course, and in those areas, but most of those decisions were safe decisions, It was safe to go to school at that time because it's like I really didn't know what was next for my life. I didn't know what I wanted at the time. It was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to school. Everybody's going to school, and why not go to school? I got a scholarship. I'll use this and make something of this, which was good, but at the same time, that was a safe route for me, and I'm thankful for that. But later on, when being an athlete is over and the school thing is over, it was all up to me. I had to make the decisions in my life, like what am I gonna do next, or what direction do I want to go? And that has been like an up and down roller coaster, to be honest. And the thing is, like, nobody really asks you, what you truly want at those times. Growing up, it was always like, what are your goals, or where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, I can't answer that. I don't know where I'm gonna see myself in 5 years. And it's like, what job do you expect to have? What career? I was the guy, I had no clue. But, I would say something, make myself feel good, make people feel good. But at the same time, those were those people's expectations of me. And those could have been some of the dreams that they had about me, or their expectations. Like, okay, he's going to do this, or he's going to do that, and he's going to make it or be successful in this area. And they don't know what I truly want out of life. And when I say detaching, it's not to mean like you don't care anymore about things or outcome of your life and everything. It's just you stop letting outside opinions affect your life and kind of like dictate where you're gonna go next. That's what I mean by detaching. This could mean like starting something new for yourself. Maybe you starting a social media page, maybe you trying to get good at art, or maybe you want to move somewhere new all by yourself, travel to a new place by yourself. Like, these are the decisions you make, and these are decisions that somebody might look at you funny for doing, and that's okay. Honestly, some of the decisions that I've made in my life, it's like I know people were gonna think that I was crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm out of my mind. But at the same time, when I made those decisions, they all of a sudden felt inspired or something. They felt like, oh, I can do this. If he's doing this, I can do this. It seems like he's grabbing life by the horns or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that was me actually taking initiative and being like, yo, I want to do this. So I'm not going to stick in this place for long. I'm just going to take off and take a risk. And the scary thing is, once you make that decision, it's like you don't have nobody else to blame, you know? Like when I make certain decisions, like I go travel all the way across the world. If I fail at certain things or certain like things I expect to succeed at, then it's just up to me, you know? It's not my parents' fault. It's not my friends' fault. It's all me. And that's the thing that you have to face whenever you do detach. It's like when you make your decisions and you make your moves, you don't have nobody else to blame. And it's not like you burn bridges. It's just sometimes you do have to burn the boats, I would say, and let go of the things that were kind of anchoring you or keeping you comfortable, so you can be outside your comfort zone and so that you could grow. And when you get to those points, like I said, nobody is there to blame. It's all on you. Freedom is exciting, you know. I always think of freedom and not having to listen to somebody or be controlled by somebody else as a good thing, but at the same time it comes with a lot of responsibility. And if you feel like you up to that task, then you're capable for sure. You know, sometimes when I think back at, you know, the different places I've been to in my life or the different phases, there was a lot of times where I was trying to please other people, or I was trying to fit into like the societal standard. You know, I look at other people's lives on social media or people I've grown up with, because, you know, by this time or by this age, a lot of people start families, they get a house, they get the successful career, or they start moving up in a career. And I always didn't see my life like that. Even as a younger guy, I wasn't thinking about those things. I was kind of thinking about, you know, what's next for me, or I want to try this, or I want to go after this now, or maybe this would be a good thing for me right now. And those change, those definitely change. But I feel like listening to your intuition and listening to your gut feeling at those times are like the best, because you never know what it'll lead you to. It could completely change your life. And just know you'll be living a completely different life than the societal standard or how everybody else is living, you know? I never thought about myself as following that same path. So it's kind of tough for me to, you know, have certain conversations with people, or to, you know, not think about maybe they'll think I'm crazy or something like that. You know, I kind of expect that, but that's kind of what comes with it, you know. Freedom, you know, has that type of responsibility. And I feel like when you're working towards being free or true to yourself, it will create a lot of curiosity in a lot of different people. And people will question you. People will always look at you a different way, or they might be inspired. So a lot of the stuff about chasing stability, like I was involved in just chasing stability and chasing after different things that I knew just wasn't a right fit for me. Even just being perfect or a perfectionist at certain things, that's not the right fit, you know, in my life. Sometimes you got to get to a point where it's like, do you create a life that just looks good, or does it feel good to you? Because I feel like a lot of people out here have a life that just, it looks great, it looks really good, but inside it might not be all of that. But you don't know, and you don't know those people's lives. I think a lot of people in my life were always telling me to find myself, you know, and to discover the things that I really like, or, you know, the places that I really want to go, and blase. But I think the main thing with growing up is uncovering yourself, like going back and removing everything that isn't you. and focusing on the things that are you and the direction that you want to go. I want to build a life that's actually mine, you know? I don't want to just fit into the society standards. Maybe I'll fail, you know, maybe I will change my mind at times, but honestly, I think it's a better journey just going after those things instead of living with regret and, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or thinking about it and being like, damn, I should have made this move at this time. I'd rather do that now at a young age. And I feel like the younger you realize you would have to detach from these things is the best outcome for your life. I always think about is I'm not gonna search for other people's approval. Like, it's really on me, and I want to make the best out of this life. And I know that it can feel long, but it's actually short. Like, life, you don't know when the next moment is. You don't know when your last days are. So really focusing on the life that you truly want to live is what's best. Maybe that first step of, you know, finding yourself is to really just detach from the things that you've always known or always knew. And that can shift you in a new direction that will be beneficial to you and that you can learn and grow from.